Central Florida has over 550 named lakes, and there's probably 4 major different chains around Central Florida that if you're looking to live on the lake or in a lake community that you could choose from. So today we're going to talk about the different areas of town, which different chains have different options, the real estate around it, and why you might choose one over the other. Stay tuned. Before we jump into some different areas of town, one of the things when you're thinking about buying a house on the lake is the usability. There's some beautiful lakes here that are really only to look at. We'll talk about that later in the video. But are you okay with pond front living? Because a lot of people will call it lakefront, but it's really just a glorified pond. Or are you looking for lakefront? That's gonna be up to you and your budget. So since we're talking about lakes, why don't we start over here in Lake County? And this is the Claremont Chain of lakes. Well, there's 11 lakes that are on the chain. There's really 3 of the larger ones, Lake Minneola, Minnehaha, and Lake Louisa. And it goes all the way from southern Claremont all the way up through Minneola. There's lots of different options in terms of real estate, from old condos sitting on the lake all the way up to remodeled, beautiful estates that range from like 500,000 to 600,000 on those condo sides up to multiple millions here on the lake. The thing I love about the Claremont Chain of lakes is, for one, you've got the boat access, but you've also got downtown Claremont sitting right off the lake here. From the food hall to professional offices to just a lot of things from the farmers market, and the downtown area is really seeing a revitalization. There's also miles of trails and different pocket parks up and down this area. If you've ever been over to the Lake Louisa side off of 27, there's places to camp and a lot of really cool things around this area. So let's talk about the Harris Chain, probably my favorite in regards to the amount of things to do and that typical lake life downtown style. There's 7 different lakes that make up the Harris Chain, and they're surrounded by really cute downtown areas. Some of my favorite, really quintessential lake life that I think you would absolutely love. From an affordability standpoint and just really things to do, the Harris Chain is fantastic. You have a place where you can actually put your boat right up to restaurants and really make that lifestyle of living on the lake. Now you have Eustis, Mount Dora, Leesburg, and Tavares that kind of surround all of these different lakes. And so the price point on these properties really range from the 300s if you're looking throughout the different lake areas, all the way up to the multi-millions. I love personally Mount Dora, the downtown area. There's so many different places to eat. They've got an amazing farmers market, and the location of it is actually really convenient. If you're in the east side of the Harris Chain, you're probably 35 minutes from downtown Orlando, and you're 50 minutes from both Disney and MCO, depending on which way you go. So really, from an affordability and lake lifestyle, it's really hard to beat the Harris Chain. Before we get to the third chain of lakes, I wanna make sure you stay to the end of the video because I've got this new home tour that you have to see. Property sitting on a private lake, and I think you're going to love it. But the third chain of lakes I wanna talk about is the Butler Chain. It's 13 interconnected lakes that are just crystal clear and beautiful. In fact, they go all the way down through Reedy Creek and out to the Everglades eventually, and so it's just a beautiful chain to be on. Now, it feels like a private chain of lakes though, because you have 2 public accesses, one on Conroy Windermere and the other one over by R.D. Keene. But because there's so many other access points within the gated neighborhoods like Keens Point and Isleworth, it feels like a gated community. Properties there range anywhere from really 4 to 5 million if you want to be on the lakes, all the way up to 30 million. And so it's really one of the most expensive chain of lakes to live on in Central Florida. The fourth chain of lakes I want to talk about is the Conway Chain. Now, this is located just north of the Orlando International Airport and not too far from downtown Orlando. And so if you want to be in proximity of Lake Nona or really the area of Belle Isle right around the lakes, it's a fantastic option. It's kind of for the OG Orlandonians who have been here long enough and find it, because it's not something that really a lot of people talk about it. I think that the 40s, 50s, and 60s style houses, all the way up to the teardown mansions there, make it for a fantastic location. Now, it's technically 3 different lakes, but if you look at it on a map, it looks like 4. So sometimes you hear about it, it's Little Conway, Lake Conway, and Lake Gatlin, which are the official 3. But every once in a while, you hear people talk about West, East, Middle, and South Lake, or maybe it's Middle Lake, Little Lake Conway, and South Lake Conway. However you call them, it's still a fantastic place to live and significantly cheaper than the Butler Chain. The last chain of lakes is the Kissimmee Chain of lakes. And if you look on a map, you see these huge different East Lake Toho and Lake Toho. And there's a lot of things that you can do in and around these lakes. You've got bass fishing, walleye fishing, there's turkey hunting, boar hunting, and a lot of other stuff that I had no idea that even existed in Central Florida, but is very, very popular. You've got a lot of new growth in this area. It's in Polk and Osceola County, which is where so much growth in Central Florida is happening because it is more of an affordable area. And so if you're in that price point or you're looking to have this as an amenity in your backyard, that's definitely an option. So we talk about lakes that some people might want to look at but not swim in. Lake Apopka is probably one of those. If you ever look on the map, you see this pea green, huge lake. Well, that's Lake Apopka. It's the 4th largest lake in all of Florida. And yet, why don't people swim in there? Well, in the late 1800s, a bunch of the farmers that owned the land around the lake put in a levee, splitting off the top 20 acres of the lake and getting all of the different muck in the area. From planting and phosphorus that actually went into the lake, it turned it that pea green. And over the past 40 years, they've been doing a lot to clean up the lake, get rid of some of the runoff that's happened over the past 100 years, and make it a more swimmable, clear lake. It's an interesting thing, and taking millions of dollars to get it where it is today. It'll be interesting what they do for it in the future. So, all right, I think it's time to go show you guys that new listing. So speaking of unique opportunities, I want to show you one of our newest listings. My partner Bree and I just listed here in Winter Garden. It's a really cool opportunity. Let's take a look. What's going on?
Hey, welcome in.
Good to see you. I love this house. So you want to take us through?
Absolutely.
Cool.
All right, so we're inside the Lewiston model. If you're not familiar with the Lewiston, as soon as you walk in, you have an amazing formal dining space. You have a drop zone, storage, and a half bath before you go upstairs. Yeah. But my favorite part of the floor plan, if you come into the heart of the home, you have this massive living room that overlooks the pool in Johns Lake. Doesn't get much better than that. And then, of course, the kitchen. So when you come into the kitchen, you have a double island.
It's huge.
Huge. You could have Thanksgiving dinner here.
It would be a travesty not to.
Yeah.
But you've got the quartz countertops, the subway tile. It's really timeless. I feel like the way that they finished it out.
Yes, and it's perfect because right off the kitchen, you also have another dining nook. Again, that overlooks the pool and the lake. It's perfect for entertaining. If you love to cook, this is the kitchen for you. Or if you're like me, maybe you don't cook, it looks really good for your friends and family when they come over.
That's right. It shows off well on the gram. And then around the corner, you've got the guest suite.
Yep, so guest suite, it has a full bathroom and it also goes out to the summer kitchen and the pool, easily accessible as the pool bath. So if you want guests to come and enjoy your beautiful home, but not be too close to your master upstairs, that's the place for them to go.
All right, before we go upstairs, I think we have to take a look outside.
Let's go. Like I said, we couldn't go upstairs without going out to outdoor space first because it's so tempting and really all I want to do is jump in that pool.
I know, and this place is huge out here. You've got easily room for 20, 30 of your friends. They did a really great job making this like that perfect outdoor space to really appreciate the whole lakefront property as well.
Yeah, and what's so different about it is you have the 2-story screened-in lanai. You don't see that a lot, so that opens up the space a ton.
Yeah, I always, people always ask like, should I get a screen on the outdoor? And I'm always like, I'm not really a big fan. But they did a really great job to make it feel nice and open.
Yes.
And being that you're so close to the lake, you probably want to protect from the bugs and all that sort of thing.
Yes, that's usually what it is it's all about bugs. And like you said, the way they did it here, it like feels nice. And I feel like you wouldn't want to go without the screen otherwise.
No, not at all. And they got the party pools, they got the sun shelf and the swim up bar here. This is so good. I love this place.
Yeah, and then if you wrap around this way, there's also a summer kitchen. So you can have everybody up to the bar, the grill. The outdoor entertaining out here is seriously endless. And there's another covered lanai on the opposite side. So when you come out of that living room or off the kitchen, more seating space. Like you said, you can have a ton of people out here.
Yeah, I know they didn't do it on this one for a dock, but can they put a dock if they wanted to?
They can, so you can put a dock on Johns Lake. You will see some that have a boat lift or a jet ski lift. You can take the family out and go boating, and it's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
All right, so as you get to the top of the stairs, what I love about the floor plan is it's split upstairs too, and the master's tucked away by itself, so let's start there.
Let's go there.
All right, so when you come into the master, you have French doors leading you in. It's a huge space, tray ceilings, a ton of natural light.
So much natural light. You've got like this whole corner piece. It feels like it used the entire lake perfectly.
Yes.
I mean, you wake up and that's what you see. Come on.
I know, they surrounded it by windows. The best part is there's also the French doors taking you out to the balcony.
Yeah, a little coffee in the morning. I love
yes,
this.
that's how I would use it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And wait, as we're positioned here, I think that's west, so then the sun is setting right over the lake as well.
Yes.
Come on, that's hard to beat.
All right, so through the master, you have dual closets, and making your way through the closets, you are taken into the ensuite. It's beautiful, and there's an oversized shower with 4 shower heads.
4 shower heads.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I've seen a shower much better than that.
No, it's fantastic. Love the glass shower, the dual sinks. It looks fantastic. Really good space.
All right, so rounding out the upstairs, you have this awesome upstairs loft. So great space for family, kids, hangouts.
Just push them over here so we can be quiet downstairs. No, this is great for entertaining, for kids, any kind of thing. Perfect.
Yeah, and it has a half bath, so that's super convenient. And then around the corner, you also have upstairs laundry. You have 2 bedrooms with Jack and Jill bathroom, and then an extra guest bedroom with an ensuite.
It's a great floor plan. I mean, it's a really good use of space. How big is it all in?
It is 4,500 square feet.
Yeah, it's a great space. All right, so when people reach out and they say, Ken, I want lakefront in Winter Garden, that's possible.
We can do that.
New construction,
We can do that too.
but gated new construction on the lake is also, that's a pretty tough one.
That is really hard. There's really just not much of it left, right?
Yeah.
Most of that's already been built and sold, so that's why this opportunity is so rare.
Yeah, and so we're in Hickory Hammock, but then we're also, which is gated.
Right?
And then you've got Emerald Point, which is the gated section of Hickory Hammock.
Right. So this home is behind 2 gates, double gated, and we
Yeah.
just talked about it's hard to get 1 gate.
Yeah.
So it's double gated, and there's only 28 homes on this little island of Johns Lake. So that's what makes it so rare.
I love that. And so what are maybe a few other things that we left out?
So we left out the fact that there is a split 3-car garage. So that is awesome. The home was built in 2020, so you're not going to have a lot to do for years to come.
Yeah.
And the house is also in a cul-de-sac, so you're not going to have any through traffic, even with neighbors that also live behind the gated area.
Amazing. If they want to get a hold of us on this house or any other ones in Central Florida, how do they do it?
Make sure to reach out to us at info@pozekgroup.com.
See you guys.